What's going on, nation? Today we're going to talk about 2 reasons why you might have muscle imbalances, and we're also going to talk about some ways to go about fixing them. So muscle imbalances affect us all in some form, and an imbalance could be having one side that's weaker than the other, or a significant difference in the size or shape of a pair of muscles. For example, maybe one bicep is bigger than the other bicep, or one side of your chest is smaller than the other. But whatever the case may be, an imbalance is a problem and we need to fix it right away. But before we jump into fixing your muscle imbalances, let's first discuss why you have them to begin with. The first reason we're going to talk about is lifting too heavy. This is probably the most common reason why bodybuilders have muscle imbalances. Lifting too heavy is a result of combining bro science with ego. You have all the juice heads on YouTube telling you to lift big to get big because they don't understand the basics of building muscle and pretty much don't care to further their own knowledge of the topic to help you, the natty lifter, because steroids are a hell of a drug. And you usually don't have to go do your own research when you're having all that help. And what happens when you lift too heavy is your workout starts to focus more on mechanical strength than breaking down muscle tissue. And what I mean is, in order for you to lift weight that is too heavy for you, you begin to contort your body and start to bring the wrong muscles into the exercise to complete a repetition. So, congratulations, you can bench 315 pounds, but are you focusing strictly on mechanical strength, which means you're not using proper form, which can lead to a serious injury in the future? Because technically, you can't handle that weight, which is why you're contorting your body to begin with. And I think this is a huge problem, guys. If you're constantly going into the gym and you're not focusing on the muscles you're trying to work, and you're just lifting as much weight as possible, you're not getting any real work done. Now, considering that biceps and chest are the most common muscle groups with muscle imbalances, let's go over some examples of each. Let's talk about bicep curls first. When curling weight that is too heavy, you might start to swing your back and arms at the same time while thrusting your hips to complete a repetition. And most people just completely ignore the entire bottom half of the movement. Now guys, if your goal is to go to the gym and to be bodybuilding and you want to build bigger arms, then the focus of the exercise needs to be on your arms, not on thrusting your hips and swinging your back and swinging your arms in the air, because you're not isolating or doing any muscle damage to your biceps. And if you're skipping the entire bottom portion of the movement, of course you're gonna have imbalances. You're not even working your entire bicep. But let's move on to the next exercise, the bench press. When benching weight that is too heavy, you might start dropping the barbell so fast in the negative portion of the movement that you just bounce the barbell off your chest because you're too weak to push through the bottom portion of the movement, which is a sticking point for a lot of people. Or my favorite, the range of motion that you're working with gets smaller and smaller as you become more fatigued with each rep. So maybe rep 1 or 2 might go all the way down to the chest, but as you start to fatigue, it gets a little lower, little lower, little lower, and then you're doing like quarter reps to complete your set. Does any of this sound familiar? Why do we do this to ourselves? What is the big deal with lifting weight we can actually handle? Or, if we're aiming to complete 10 repetitions but fatigue out at 5, why not just stop and lower the weight and then finish the reps with proper form? The main point I'm trying to make here, guys, if you have muscle imbalances and you're using other parts of your body to complete a repetition that you normally wouldn't with proper form, the focus is, maybe a bit more mechanical strength, but that can lead to an injury. And if you're not isolating and causing muscle damage equally on both sides because you're not using proper form when you're lifting too heavy, you can't expect to grow muscle tissue or to fix an imbalance that you currently have. Next, I want to talk about the lack of mind-muscle connection. And if this is something you struggle with, you might notice that the dominant side does all of the work when performing your movements. And now it's so important, especially as a beginner, that you learn to increase your mind-muscle connection. Now this is the ability to feel the muscles being worked. And once you master the mind-muscle connection, not only will your strength go through the roof, but your ability to break down more muscle for growth during each set will increase exponentially as well. If you're the kind of person who does a lot of work with machines or barbells, it can become very easy for you to rely a bit more on your dominant side to do more of the work when exercising. And this is because when using machines or barbells, usually what you're doing is connected. So even if I have to push with both arms, I can still push more with the dominant side and the weaker side will go with it. Now let's use bicep curls and the bench press as examples again. When performing a barbell bicep curl, look in the mirror to see if the bar is going up straight, especially when you start to fatigue. If not, that's a good indication that you're still relying on your dominant side to perform the movement. The same goes for the barbell bench press. Take a look at the barbell as you perform each repetition. Is it going up straight, or is it slightly slanted with the stronger side always going up first? If you notice any of these things happening, don't worry, we can fix it. The best thing to do would be to switch to dumbbells to help correct the issue. With dumbbells, each arm will have to work independently of each other, thus not allowing the dominant side to take over the movement. Now, some of the most common questions I get are, should I do more reps with the weaker side, or should I use less weight to train the dominant side less while strengthening the weaker side? The answer to both questions is no. What you should do is, as soon as you fatigue on the weak side, is put down your weights and grab lighter ones to finish the set strong. You need to always keep in mind that there are 3 mechanisms in which you build muscle: mechanical tension, muscle damage, and metabolic stress. Mechanical tension is the tension that the weight puts on your muscles when you're going through full range of motion, causing them to respond by adapting, growing, and getting stronger. Metabolic stress is when you do lots of repetitions and sets with short rest periods. And muscle damage, this is what occurs when you exercise and cause micro tears to your muscles. So to wrap this up, even though you are decreasing the weight or load on the muscle, which is the mechanical tension we talked about, you're still utilizing metabolic stress and muscle damage to build more muscle. And I actually have a full-length article and video discussing these mechanisms on muscularstrength.com. So if you guys want to check it out and 100% put your worries of always having to lift big to get big to rest, I'll toss that link down in the info section below. But to finish up this point, the lack of the mind-muscle connection usually happens as a direct result of my first point of lifting too heavy. Also, keep in mind that your mind-muscle connection can and will get weaker over time if you lift too heavy and are not focusing on contracting your muscles properly. But that's a story for another day. Or after you finish this video by clicking here in the link below. Now the answer to your question, how do I work on fixing my muscle imbalances? Believe it or not, the answer is quite simple, guys. The first thing you need to do is kick your ego in the face. You don't have to lift big to get big. Now, you do need to challenge yourself and you do need to work with progressive overload, but you want to make sure that when you are lifting big, it's weight you can handle. Not just tossing as much weight as you can on whatever you're doing and working on mechanical strength, because as we talked about earlier, that's not really giving you the most muscle damage for growth. Now, with that being said, start to lower all the weights in all your exercises. This doesn't have to be a drastic drop, but enough so that you can perform your reps a bit slower and really focus on isolating and contracting the muscles you're trying to work. Remember, you cause the most muscle damage in the negative portion of the movement. So if you have not been training in full range of motion, now is the time to start implementing and adding it to your new list of healthy workout habits. If you start to fatigue when performing your repetitions, instead of losing control and going back to your old habits, lower your weights and then finish your reps. If you have a spotter, you can have them step in and help you as well. When you lift too heavy and have to contort and twist yourself just to move the weight, your body is going to instinctively use your dominant side more to complete your repetitions. So whatever small amount of muscle activation you're getting from these horrible reps that you're doing, it's just gonna further your muscle imbalances. You guys have everything you need inside of you to build an amazing physique. Just believe in yourself and stay focused. You got this, nation, and I want to see those gains. So be sure to like, click that subscribe button, and as always, more good stuff coming soon. See you guys. If you're looking for a website that lets you build your own profile, interact with other community members, log your daily meal plan and add your own custom foods, find the exact routines you're looking for to reach your goals on a weekly basis, new recipe ideas to help improve your meal plan, and you enjoy learning new things to take your workouts to the next level, join muscularstrength.com. What's your maximum output?
That's what happens when you do it wrong.
You do it wrong. Yeah.
You contorted too much, babe.
Yeah, wasn't trying to do that.